Here we have the all-new 2023 Toyota Crown. Now this Crown comes in the XLE trim level. Sorry about the wind noise if that's coming through. But this comes in the standard black, and then we have the black fabric and soft text interior. Now this Crown all-wheel drive has a 236 net horsepower, 2.5 liter hybrid 4-cylinder engine. That's made it to an electronic CVT. And as we come around to the front end here, we do get the LED headlamps along with the LED daytime running lights. And I've said this before on the limited trim, that styling, it could be controversial, but I love it. Just not seeing any hard black plastic around, all that's kind of glossed out, and especially in this black, it all matches up, and I love that about this car. Over here to the wheels, we get these beautiful 19-inch alloy wheels. And I say beautiful because they do look great on this car, and a lot of the times, especially in the XLE trim with Toyota, you don't necessarily get the best looking rims on the car, but here we have an exception. Passive keyless entry on the front. We have our power mirror controls, pick a side and then adjust using the dial. We have our power folding mirrors that have blind spot monitors in them, and then we can set that to either stay open, be on auto, or to close up if we're getting out of the car or something. And then rear window lock, power door lock controls, one-touch automatic up and down windows on all 4 doors, bottle holder here, windshield de-icer, automatic high beams. And then we can pop the trunk here, open the gas cap. That's the hood release. We do have a manual tilt and telescoping steering wheel. There's the release for that. And here is our power driver's seat with 2-way power lumbar support. And a great look for the seat, I think, even with it being cloth and soft text. The design is fantastic. I'm so glad they went with this color fabric here. Now I do have the seat right there adjusted for someone of my size, being 6'3" with longer legs. So we're gonna check out the room sitting behind myself. And just really impressed by the space that this car has. And I said this in the limited trim I did a few months ago. It's just impressive that you get all of this space in basically something that looks like a car, drives like a car, but the space in here feels like an SUV. So just super impressed that Toyota was able to do that. Rear AC vents, 2 USB-C charge ports. And then this center seat folds down. Bottle holders are there. And even the headrest for the back, even though it's cloth, I love the design there. It's kind of meant to wrap around your head a little bit. And the grab handles here, we can hang a couple plastic hangers or metal hanger hooks there. And then another thing, LED reading lights in the back. Fantastic. Now as we come around to the back end, I like that this kind of has the same, it just gives me that same feeling as the outgoing Avalon did, just with the back end, how it's rounded out, the tail lamps. I love that look. And if you want to open the trunk from the back without using the key fob or being up front, right underneath here, click that. And there's all of your space. And again, I'm sorry for this wind, it's getting crazy out here. But tons of space back here with the all-weather mat. Lift this up. Then lift up here and you can get to your spare tire with little effort. And then you have these pull handles on either side to fold that rear seat down. And I'm going to demonstrate that for you right now. And that'll fold flat and you can run objects through the back to the front. And then your anchors for the car seat are right underneath there. But I want to give a huge shout out to John Roberts Toyota for allowing me to review this Crown XLE today. I'll leave a link below in the description for this car. But here's a quick look at the window sticker. Y'all can pause anywhere you need to. And not a bad price, I think, for what you get. $41,354. Look at that fuel economy. And to the front passenger seat, big plus here, which I was not expecting, is we do get a power front passenger seat. So great to see that here. Lockable glove compartment. All the owner's manuals and such are in there. And now let's go ahead and take a look underneath the hood. And again, we have a 2.5 liter hybrid 4-cylinder setup, 236 net horsepower. So when you first start this up, it'll be silent, especially if there's been charging the battery, and then after it's sitting for a while, that engine will cut on. Let's go ahead and go through the interior real quick. Gonna adjust the steering wheel. Leather wrapped, feels fantastic. There's the horn there. Now over here to this screen, we have the navigation subscription here. We have the FM radio, AM radio, XM radio, so we can go through all of that there. We also have Bluetooth audio, wireless CarPlay, and Android Auto. Then to connect your device, just go there, search for devices, and you can either do it through the radio or your phone right there. And then all of your settings are in here, pretty easy to get through everything. If you want to change your language and units here, you can do that. So it's set automatically based on region, but you turn that off, and then you can decide how to do the fuel consumption and then your language. You have 3 options there. There's a backup camera, guidelines follow you as you turn the steering wheel. And I like the trim here. It's kind of got like a gold, maybe a bronze look there, and then volumes here. You can click that, turn the audio off. And then we do have 3-stage heated front seats for the driver and front passenger. And then we have the defroster, heated mirrors here, front defroster, that's rear defroster, excuse me. We can cut everything off by hitting that button, set our auto mode, adjust temperature here, adjust fan speed, and then you can do that for either side. And then the AC toggles right there as well. Wireless charging pad in there. I like how this is set up. It takes up a bit of room, but I'm not having any issues just sliding my phone in there, even with this bigger iPhone. I think it's a 14 with a case and everything fits in there, no problem. Plenty of room to spare, actually. And then we have 2 USB-C ports, bottle holders. Now the shifter is interesting. To put it into gear, you pull over, pull down for drive, or you could just pull over for neutral, hold it, pull up for reverse, and then when you're in drive, you can just tap it down to go into that B mode, which is basically going to be your max regen braking. And then for your drive modes, you have Eco, Normal, Sport, traction control toggle, brake hold, then your EV mode when there's enough battery and the speeds are not too high, you can activate that. And then center console cubby space, we have a sliding tray which you can remove as well, and then a USB-A input in there along with the 12-volt. There's a view of the back seat from up here. I like how these lights are set up. That looks pretty state-of-the-art in my opinion. Garage door transmitter here. Now back to the steering wheel. Blinkers are behind. And when the low beams are on, you can turn the high beams on there, flash there. And then you can set the autos on there, and then your auto high beams, when those are enabled, those will activate with these automatic low beams as well. Windshield wiper controls, one time off, intermittent low high. You can adjust the intermittent here and then just pull up here for the front wiper fluid. Now here we can go through the gauge cluster functions. So you have several different options there. You can go into your settings and adjust that. So lane departure, you can make sure that that's set up the way you want to. And then the same thing with the blind spot monitor, etc. It's just so much going on here. Now you do have to hold down the OK button to go through things. You can't just click it. You have to hold it and then wait for it to open. And then again, you can change your language and your units there as well. But volume is here, up or down, voice recognition, and then use this mode button to go through your audio sources. You can use these buttons to go through presets or track lists depending on where you are. And then all of this is part of your cruise control, or your Toyota Safety Sense 3.0, excuse me. So I'll show you all of that when we take it out on the road for the test drive. Push button starts here. Finally, here's the key fob. And next, let's go ahead and take this 2023 Crown XLE out on the road for a test drive. So starting the test drive in this Crown, the pickup is actually very, very good. I feel like I remember that when I did my test drive of the limited trim as well. You wouldn't expect it to be as impressive as it is, but it's really nice. Now it is windy out, but we're getting just a little bit of wind noise here, cruising at 55. We're gonna take it up just a little bit. So we have the lane centering on here. And you can toggle that adaptive cruise mode right there, and the gap adjust for that here. But overall, the ride quality is superb. Just like the Avalon. And the brake pedal feel, even with the regen, I'm not feeling any sort of lurching or anything like that. That's pretty impressive, just how the pedals feel. The gas pedal and the brake pedal. Both are very smooth. And I mean, there's really not much to say other than it's a relaxing driving experience. So we're gonna give it a little throttle here in the normal mode. And the more you put your foot into it, the more this thing will pull. But I wanna put it into the sport mode now and see how that'll get up. No one's around me, so I'm gonna slow down and then just give it about halfway throttle. Yeah, it's pretty quick. So one of the reasons that this car is, I feel like, a vehicle that's underappreciated, underestimated, is it's kind of a weird, everybody's trying to go towards EVs and plug-in hybrids, and Toyota said, you know what, we're gonna drop this Crown and see what people think about it. And a lot of people aren't really hearing about it. I'm seeing quite a few on the roads, but in more, I think, urban areas where hybrids are appreciated, people do research on cars like this, but I'd say the majority of people still haven't heard of this with it being a new model. But it is extremely impressive. Acceleration is very good, especially for a 4-cylinder engine. I mean, we have all the features we could want here, even in this mid-range trim. You might even consider this more of a base trim on this car in particular. But you're getting 42 miles per gallon city, 41 highway. Those are the EPA estimates, so you can probably do better depending on how you drive it. And I consider this the Prius Avalon. Let me just put it that way. So the Prius has always been around, but it's always been kind of like I feel like halfway between a Corolla and a Camry. Whereas this is this feels like the inside of a RAV4, just the space you get here. And it drives like an Avalon. So, I mean, it's just a very, very good product they put together. And then even driving in eco mode, mostly you'll want to use this just for the highway, but driving around town, it still gets up when you need it to. You just don't get that full power, and you'll probably want to put your foot into the floor if you're trying to accelerate quickly while in this mode. But I'm going to put it into the normal mode. Let's see how we get up here. Now with the ECVT, not having to worry about shift points and all of that, this thing is pretty quick. And if we did have a traditional transmission with a powertrain like this, even Toyota's 8-speed that you can find in the Camry, it would probably be more fun to drive, but I feel like you wouldn't get the pull that you get here. And there might be room for more errors, or I don't know, things that might come up along the way. But with this ECVT, it just allows you to have seamless power, and then when you're not under hard throttle, you're able to get the best fuel economy possible with the continuously variable transmission. But I have the radar cruise set to 74, or 73, excuse me. And then we're only going 71 to keep that safe distance between us and the vehicle in front of us. And just a great driver's aid. I've said this about Toyota's lane centering in particular in the past, but having that with the adaptive cruise, it's just very relaxing for longer drives on the interstate. And driving down the road here, very little road noise that I'm noticing. It's just super quiet in here. Sound acoustics are fantastic. Now for the money, I think this is it's a fantastic buy, honestly. And I wasn't as sure of myself when I did the limited trim, because that kind of, with all the heated and cooled seats, the roof, I don't even think it was a sunroof, I think it was just a fixed glass roof. With all of that there, this was pushing 50K plus, maybe 55, I can't remember exactly. But here, at a little over $40,000, getting something that rides as nicely, has all this safety technology, a great looking interior, especially for cloth. They did a great job with the seats and everything. But the powertrain, especially the engine in particular, having that 2.5 hybrid motor, having that power at your disposal, but 98% of the time when you don't need it, you're getting 42 miles per gallon city. I mean, it's a good match, it really is. So I think if you're looking at the Prius, or even some EVs, this might be more practical to you, because if you have range anxiety, you don't have to worry about that with this car that's getting 42 miles per gallon in the city, 41 highway. So I highly recommend this car if you're looking for something fuel efficient, that's riding good, has decent power, and doesn't necessarily break the bank too bad. Definitely make sure you take a look at this 2023 Toyota Crown in the XLE trim level.